Welcome. Hi, my name is Alicia J. Alexander, MSL, for Master of Science in Leadership. We welcome you to the Focus Forum today, June 12th, Friday, June 12th. And I want to introduce my panel, wonderful professionals who are concerned about various aspects of places, issues in the workplace and their own professions. I'm going to start with Dr. Danielle Lord, Ph.D. And we also have Tara Utter and John Kennedy. Dr. Danielle, introduce yourself, please.
Well, good to be back with the group and good to be, great topic again today. I think I probably don't have much to contribute on this one, but looking forward to the conversation and seeing where it goes. I'm the founder and principal of Archetype Learning Solutions. I help businesses create healthier cultures for happier employees. So that's what I do.
And we have Tara Utter.
So yes, that is my name. So I am the developer of the CHOPS method. And what I do is I help individuals, organizations strengthen their leadership from the inside, developing their confidence, their hope, their optimism, perseverance, and resilience. I turn personal growth into actionable steps to make a bigger impact.
Awesome. And we have John Kennedy.
Yeah, John Kennedy developed a program for our military almost 20 years ago now, combat brain training, and the goal is to very quickly, actually, much faster than people thought possible, rewire our brains to be more efficient, faster, and accomplish more with less stress. So that actually, because everything flows through our brain, I get to work with really a wide range of wonderful people, from professional athletes to kids with autism, and we're able to help all of them by just improving their brain efficiency. So that's me.
Awesome, thank you so much. So I'm going to allow Tara Utter to introduce the topic of today.
So today's topic is fraud and not being taken advantage of. As a business development consultant, I pride myself on doing due diligence on companies. Now, I say that just to kind of preface it with, we have fallen victim. So these fraudsters are getting really, really good. I went Secretary of State, Better Business Bureau. I even talked to their bank in code because they can't give out any information. So I had to be creative in my questioning. But everything checked out. Reviews, everything checked out. And within 2 weeks, or actually within this last week, things have popped up that not only threw up red flags, but sent us to the police department, sent us to file multiple reports over the last few days. So one of the companies that I am involved in is a nonprofit that serves our heroes, our first responders, our military, our veterans. And we are putting together a program for them and a campground and a conference center and all of this stuff. And so right now, everything is based on donations. And so we are very, very careful to spend any of the donations unless we know where it's going. So I say that this company, like I said, we did our due diligence. We spent multiple days looking into this company. And it wasn't just me, it was my partners as well. And we were all duped, but we didn't know that because this company has their website. They have their setup with the Secretary of State. They're in good standing. They had no bad reviews. Everything was golden until it wasn't. And, it's frustrating because it's not us that they hurt. It's, those that we serve. It's,
Right.
they took money away from, not us, because it was donations. They took money away from those who donated. And, doing some of the research that we did over the last couple days, there have been names that come up, a lot of things that will add to the investigation, including other victims. So just, I'm pleading, be very, very careful, because they're getting very, very good. To look at this company's website, you would have no question. They communicated with every step of the process until the very end when they're like, nope, blocking you. And that's exactly what they did. They blocked my number, my husband's number, and my daughter's number. And not because we were calling every 5 minutes. The end of the process when the machine was to be delivered, I called the day of delivery once, didn't show up. My daughter called the next day, or my husband called the next day. He got hung up on and blocked. And then so a couple hours later, we called from another line. I don't think it was a couple hours, but a little while later, we called from another line. And they're like, oh, sorry, there was a delay, but then that number was promptly blocked. Mm-hmm. So we need to figure out a way to spot these. I mean, everything in me was looking for something to not go with them, but they had everything in place. They were good. And, looking at what I looked at the end of May is not what I look at today, because now there's complaints, there's reports, there's all kinds of stuff against them that have all been launched in the last week that weren't there when I did my research. So who else has been scammed? Who else have they taken advantage of? Who else? I mean, even we didn't fall victim to it. However, we could have, had we not known the right questions to ask and the right people to contact. But there's grant programs that target businesses, that target individual businesses. There's so much to be leery of, and even asking the critical questions. Sometimes, like this company, they answered everything right. They did everything right.
So my question would be, it sounds like you did really good due diligence. So people listen to this. Is there?
I'm sorry, you cut out. I missed it.
And
oh no!
Still got scammed. So can you guys hear me?
We can hear you now.
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking. So you did your due diligence, right? But was there something that you missed doing that you could pass on to other people? Because it sounds like you did a pretty good job in the beginning of trying to vet them.
Yeah, and that's the hard part, because we go back and think about, what did we miss? What did we miss? And honestly, there was nothing that we missed. We looked at the Secretary of State. We looked at their filings. We looked to see who their parent company was. And we have all of that information for the FBI and the FTC and everybody else I need to report it to. However, looking back, we did all our due diligence to vet them, and they checked out. So until they misstep, there's, I don't even know how to explain how we could have not missed it, because there was nothing to miss, short of going to their location. But they even stated they're an auction house. They don't keep their machinery there because different farmers will consign their stuff to them. So it's at the different locations across the country. Okay. That is not uncommon. So there were no red flags there, because it's not uncommon for farmers to do that, unless they're going with one of the big companies like Ritchie Brothers or Iron Planet. And the only reason I know those is because my husband's in that industry. So he even called and they're like, there's no complaints on them. We don't, they must be new because we haven't heard of them, but that doesn't mean they're not legit. So
I'm just thinking for our listeners, this is not very encouraging.
it's not. And it is not.
So maybe explain, so in case it does happen to them, maybe explain what you're doing, in response. So they front who to contact.
Yeah. So as soon as a flag comes up, if you question anything about a company, you cancel payment immediately. You file a report with your bank. You file a report with the Better Business Bureau, the Attorney General of your state, and of the state that this entity is located. So for me, it's Colorado. So I have filed with the Attorney General in Colorado, filed with the Attorney General here in Arkansas. And they recommend for online fraud, the FBI has a thing called, IC3. And it's to file those reports. So after this, I get to do that still. And then they also recommend the FTC because it's online.
Yeah. Right.
So there is a lot to do and a lot of hoops to jump through. And if you ever buy anything online, keep a paper trail.
Good advice.
Keep a paper trail. Any correspondence, put it in a file, whether it's on your computer or a hard copy, whatever, make a copy of everything. And that's what's helped me. All of their attorney, all the Secretary of State information, I have it all printed out. I have the names of their registered agents. I have names and addresses that they probably don't think the average person will look for. I have them all.
Great. That might be something to post. Yeah, that's a great. So is your bank able to get the money back?
Well, we just filed the report. We just filed it all yesterday. So, they have to, when you do this, you have to go to your bank first, and your bank files the report with the other person's bank. I tried to do it both, and they're like, yeah, it just doesn't work that way. So I tried. I'm like, but it's your client. So yeah, you have to file your bank first and get them on that. And for us, it was a wire transfer, which again is not uncommon in this industry.
Right.
So again, no red flag there because it's not uncommon. And wire transfers are really hard to get back. So be leery if there's if you can do it via credit card or some other way that you can be guaranteed. I highly recommend it. But again, this is the industry. They're not always, sometimes they'll do credit card, but not always. Generally, it's a wire transfer. So it was not a red flag. But keep your paperwork on everything, your email transactions, your bank transactions, your communication with the companies, even the chats. If you can take a screenshot of your chat after you're done with it, just put it in the file. You may need it, you may not. I pray you don't. But they're getting very sophisticated. I mean, this company had a website with chat and multiple pages, their Facebook with multiple pages. So, I mean, they were very, very thorough in their setup to where
is it possible that they were legitimate and then they had a financial problem? Or do you think from the beginning they were scamming people?
Anything's possible. Anything's possible. But, with the reports that I've recently seen, I'm guessing probably not.
Yeah.
So I may be jumping to conclusions. I may just, be emotionally too attached to that.
No, it's legitimate. It's legitimate.
But it is a legitimate, a crime has been committed. And because I have individual names, even though they set up the LLC, I'm still going directly after that person. Because again, it was it's their company,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah, the agent. Yeah, you bring up a really important point though, in terms of businesses. I think especially for small businesses, this is, for a small business, this could be a deal breaker and a real game changer for a
Absolutely.
small business who experiences something like this, not only in the financial loss, but just the amount of resources that it takes to do the work that you've
Yeah.
explained and done, Tara. So yeah, it's a big deal, and it is really something to be concerned about. But they make these things so onerous and
Mhm.
labor intensive that it makes you wonder how many like medium-sized or bigger-sized businesses are like, it's not worth it. It's not worth
Yeah.
it to go through this process in order to recoup, X amount of money. So
Right.
that just favors the people doing the nefarious activities, which is
It
really
does.
unfortunate.
It does, unfortunately, because had I not known even to what to look for when we were doing our due diligence, had I not known what to look for, there could have been things there that we missed. But I knew what to look for in legitimate companies. So, and it was all there. But, again, all of the stuff that sometimes doing our research into companies, they do stuff like this. They look good. They say all the right things. It's just like a bad leader. When their boss comes around, they know all the right things
Yeah,
until they leave.
that's so true. That is so true. But I mean, as a business owner, I have a web page, and it doesn't take much to go in and add pages and do things to your
Right.
web page. It really only takes a few minutes if you have the time available to do it.
Right.
It doesn't take that much time and effort to put, make quotes up and, accolades. Now, Google reviews are different, right? Because
Right.
that's a whole different scenario. But yeah, anyone can build a really robust
Somehow,
website.
somehow they even got past the Google reviews because I Googled them. Just that's one of my basic things that I do is give me reviews on this company, and I Google that. And there was only one negative that came up, and the negative was all about the communication. It had nothing to do with losing a machine. All the other communications and reviews, I say reviews,
Yeah.
I don't know that they were real, honestly.
Right.
They were
Yeah.
all
I mean, you
positive.
can give anyone enough money, right? Some
Yeah,
$50,
exactly.
give me a good
But-
Google review. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
the thing is, right now in the marketplace, there's called reputation marketers or reputation, so they could have cleaned it up.
Yeah,
That's the whole point of mentioning this.
yeah.
Whatever they had going on may no longer be in existence because they had the reputation marketers or whatever their title are clean up the information, no longer in existence.
Yeah. And if it had it not been the fact that I have developed a pretty good sense of resilience through all of my research and education and this is a big chunk of change. It's not something that we take lightly. It's if had we not we do have more donations in the bank. However, that took a major chunk. And had we been a smaller company or had, our goals weren't as lofty, it could have destroyed us.
Yeah.
But you take a step back, you take a breath, and you move on. And, you do what you got to do to, I'm filing all these reports and, all of that while my husband is back out there just doing what he has to do to, it's a slow process, but we're still doing what we have to do. But I do know, because there are so many businesses that fail in the first 5 years, this would destroy them in their first month.
Yeah.
Had this been somebody that doesn't know that's learning. I picture some of my clients that I walked them through inception through growth, and this would have destroyed any one of them. like full on destroyed them financially. So, we are blessed in that area to where it didn't do that. And, God he's still in control.
Right.
100%, he is in control. And he allows things to happen to teach us things. I do believe that. So we're just trying to step back and go, okay, what are we learning here? What's going on? Let's pivot. We don't know where we're pivoting yet, but you have to, that's where resilience and optimism comes in. And you have to figure out how you can pivot.
Well, let's address this issue. In humankind, there are 5 realms of existence. There's the spiritual, there's the physical, there's the mental, there's the social, and then there's the financial.
Mm-hmm.
And all 5 realms, this is completely wrong. I'm going to back this up with scripture. In John 10:10, it says the thief comes only in order to steal, kill, and destroy. But Jesus has come that we may have and enjoy and have in abundance to look. Okay, so let me go back. It says that Jesus came that we may have and enjoy life and have an abundance to the full that overflows. Additionally, and that's John 10:10 in the Amplified Classic Version. Additionally, Proverbs 6:30, verse 30 and 31 in the Amplified Classic Version says, "Men do not despise a thief if he steals to satisfy himself when he is hungry. But if he is found out, he must restore 7 times what he stole. He must give the whole substance of his house, if necessary, to meet his fine." So in the eyes of God, what has happened here is not only detrimental to your spiritual, physical, mental, social, and financial, but he owes 7 times of what's stolen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know of a case with the one minister, Teresa Belfoy. She had this happen to her as well. And God completed the 7 times. So we're going to all believe that, and it was the same about $11,700. So we're going to believe and that this will be corrected on all 5 fronts: spiritually, physically, mentally, socially, and financially. Because as we can see from scripture, God's not playing.
No, he does not play.
And we're not playing either.
Nope. I am, I'm not going to sit back and, wait for God to work, because it doesn't work that way. You can't just sit back. There's things that need to be done in order for him to make things happen. And I am going to put that, I've got everything already rolling. So
what the Bible says, faith without works is dead. So you got your
exactly.
working.
We are working.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, and don't get me wrong. It did prick the pride and kind of threw us back on our heels. But it's gonna work itself out. We don't know how yet. We can't see the future, but it will work itself out, and we will come out on top, because God didn't bring us this far to fail.
And the beautiful thing of it says that faith without works is dead, and now faith is. So it does exist, that faith is on your side, and we as your teammates agree in faith with you that this will be accomplished.
Yeah. So I mean, for other people that are listening, it's you have to be super careful. If there is even a small red flag, then move on. Question everything. And I hate to say that, because I like to have, I like to believe people in for the most part, are, especially in businesses, I like to believe that, they're trying to make every effort to do what's right. I like to deal with local businesses businesses. I like to deal with small businesses, and they were a small business. So, I'm like, okay, it dinged my pride. It kind of, like I said, threw us back on our heels, but it didn't kill us.
Right.
It didn't damage us. It didn't injure us. It just shocked us, and nothing that we couldn't recover from, because
And you
God
learned.
is in control.
Yeah. And you learned, right? Next time you
Oh yeah, absolutely.
be ready to go. Yeah. Yeah. Well, especially
Yep.
as you said, it's not just your money, it's the money of the people who donated. It's money that's not
Right.
going to something good.
And I think that's what hurt us most, because if it was our money, okay, we can go get jobs and we can make more money. But because it was our donors' money, we
Right.
feel even more responsible, because it's not our money. It's meant for a certain purpose, and that's what we're using it for.
Right.
And they took that away. They took away that ability. They took away our donors' power. You know what I mean? And so there's it. I think that is what kind of pricked our nerves a little bit more than just the fact that, what did we miss? Was the fact that this is somebody else's money that we're dealing with, and they just stole it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With a clear conscience. They did. They didn't even question it. So yeah.
But you know what? I think that God is allowing us to talk about this today, so that all 5 realms of existence, spiritual, physical, mental, social, and financial, can be healed.
Oh
For
yeah.
those who don't necessarily have a platform to talk on, they can know that, one, they're not alone. People are out
No.
there trying to manipulate and steal. And 2, there is something you can do about it. You show them what they can do about it. But we're also showing them on the spiritual side that God doesn't accept this as a practice that they can feel comfortable doing.
Right.
This is something that is wrong, and you will be caught.
Yeah.
So
I have every faith that they're going to be caught because of the information that I have. I have all the personal information. It's good to know people. It really is.
Yeah, use your network.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Use your network.
I mean, my network is not, although I do have a small network left in Colorado. My network is in Virginia still, but they still got the job done. They are very thorough in what they do, and got me more information than I could have ever asked for.
Yeah.
So, utilize your resources.
I like, because I even myself lived in Manassas, Virginia, just on the opposite to 6 Constitution Avenue. The nice thing about Virginia and Maryland is they're so close to federal buildings. So your connections there are very savvy.
They are. They are.
Skillful. So, if you, and I'm saying this to the audience too, if you ever come to a situation where you feel that you need help, reach out to your local area. Do not be afraid, and do not think that it's not worth it. Do something.
It is so worth it, because, small businesses need to be supported in order to survive, right? We all know that. However, there's nothing wrong with making sure that they are who they say they are, because there's so many nefarious people out there that they want to harm us. They want to steal our money. They want, they want it all with no recourse. We want to make sure there is recourse. And so don't feel like you're being a bother, or, this isn't really a good question. No, question it. Call the Better Business Bureau, call Small Business Administration, call, whoever call their neighbors. Out of everything, that would be the one thing that I would say that I potentially missed, was calling the neighbors. I saw them on the map. I looked at it, but I didn't call the neighbors. And so when I called their neighbor yesterday, I was the second call that day for this particular company. So call the neighbors. Hey, I know this is a weird question, but what can you tell me about your neighbor? Do they seem legit? Are they even there? Do they have boards on the windows? Whatever. Don't be afraid to call and ask somebody, because they make it look really good.
Right.
That never would have occurred to me.
Yeah. Me, as far as heavy equipment, me either. I was like, either you have it or you don't. It's a tractor. It's not something you can stick in your pocket. They take space. They take up a lot. But don't be afraid to ask. Ask questions. So that's my 2 cents.
Well, Tara, thank you for being so open and honest and instructional to help somebody else out there that may be so scared they don't know what to do,
Or paralyzed.
Yeah.
Don't what's the first step? Yeah.
You know what? If any of the listeners have gone through something and they're not sure where to start, have them reach out. I will tell them where to start. I don't know what the statute of limitations is. I'm not legal advice, but I can tell you who to contact, where you need to go. I can give you some general information that will help you get started.
Yeah.
And I may add, go to your local library, ask a question of a librarian who may be able to at least steer you in the right direction.
They might.
Yeah.
Well, let us know what happens. I think probably it sounds like the best way is because they're your bank, right? So if your bank can get their bank, then that
and their bank is a big bank, one of the big chains. So I know they had to personally go in to open that account.
Did you say they were in India?
Their sub company is out of India.
Okay.
But they have they have 3 local addresses in Colorado.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and some of them have to be in Colorado because one of them actually owns one of the houses that their office is in. And I can't fault them for that because my office is in my house,
right.
But people also know where to find me. So right. Now I know where to find them.
So curious, anyone else had something like this happen where you got scammed and had to come back for it?
The only occurrence that knock wood has happened to me was somebody used my bank to I don't know what the correct terminology is, but it was spoofing, apparently is the term that they use, and where it looks like my bank was calling me.
Yeah.
And so I answered the phone and they said, "Oh, this is the fraud department." I mean, this guy was like slick and polished. And I was like, "Hello, Miss Lord, this is the fraud department. And there's been some, activity. And of course I'm, hyper vigilant because we're all kind of in that state of, we know it's out there." And he was good. He was very, very smooth. And he even got me to give up my PIN number and everything. And I'm like, wow, well, I don't think you're supposed to do that. And he's like, "Oh no, trust me, this is a new procedure." And I was like, okay. And he sent me a text message and he's like, "Okay, we're testing out the system." And so I was like, I looked at this text message and I was like, I'm not going to approve that. And so I said, no. And he said, "Well, did you approve it?" And I said, "No." Click. I was like,
Yeah.
blah, 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 little
They
string of
get sneaky.
emoji characters of
Yeah,
hashtag
exactly.
exclamation point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, damn, he was good. I just got, yeah,
Yeah.
bamboozled.
They are very good.
Yeah.
They
I
are
was,
very good.
I was even talking with the guy about these so-and-so and blankety blank fraud people. They're just horrible. And he's like, I know, Miss Lord. I know. This is what this is what I've dedicated my profession to.
You know,
He knew how I felt about them.
so it's happened to me a few times. By the way, did you guys ever see the movie The Beekeeper with Jason Statham?
Yes, we just watched that.
It's great, isn't it? You got back at all those guys scamming seniors. Well, it's happened a few times, and they're very clever. So one, my wife had ordered something, just a few years ago, and fortunately, and this is why I know you wired. Anytime you can use a credit card, it's good because then, like a week later, a huge amount. And so the credit card called me fraud, and I said, no way I did. So that stopped it. The other thing that'll happen a lot, kind of along the lines of the beekeepers, I've got, because I used to do IT a lot, so I'm always suspicious of these guys. You'll get something saying we're doing a test of your security, right? And what they want you to do is they want you to allow them access to your computer.
Mm-hmm.
And you never do that, ever,
Never.
because once they're in, then they can do all kinds of malicious stuff. And once they're in there, you can't stop them. So you always want to be careful for that. So yeah, just always with a grain of salt. The other thing too, I have a friend who works with seniors again, but people who get scammed a lot. You always, for your family and your close friends, you always want to have a secret word, right? Because with AI fakes now, I mean, they can,
I think cut out.
I was in a car accident. I need you to send me money.
Yeah.
And that key word is so important.
I have a funny story about that. So this was years ago this was years ago. I was on the phone with my mom and I was on Facebook. We were talking and chatting both back and forth. And while we were on the phone, a message came through from my brother, who at the time happened to be in prison. So this message came through supposedly from him saying he had borrowed a phone and he was in another country. And so I played it. My mom and I just let it go.
Right.
And we played it and just kept answering him and, oh my gosh, are you okay? And finally at the end, I was like, all right, Mom, I really got to go, but I got to end this and I'm going to take a screenshot of everything. And I told him, I know you're not who you're saying you are because of, and that was the last I heard of him or heard from him. But it was so funny. I mean, and I did report it and I sent it all over to, there was somebody at the FBI at the time that I had to send it to, but even they got a giggle out of the conversation. They're like, "Oh, you went all in." I said, "Oh yeah, we were playing with them."
Have you ever listened to some of those phone ones where the guy plays the guy? It's like a guy.
Oh, I have on YouTube.
He's hilarious. Where are you located? What's your name? Where are you located? We're going to send a police cruiser over to your address right now. We're going to, and it scares the crap. But another scam happened last year. I got a call with an unlisted number, and they said, "This is a police department. There's an outstanding warrant for your address, for you, and you need to come post bail right now." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't think, but I don't know. Maybe there is one. I don't know what I think." And it got to the point where he wanted me to bring cash to like a local Starbucks.
To the Starbucks.
That's not gonna happen. Yeah, bring me the money and I'll clear it up for you. No, I don't think so. So
yeah, I like the one where it was similar, but the person that they called was actually a sheriff or she was a detective or something.
Yeah,
it was on YouTube too. That one made me giggle too. I was like, oh, they think they're sneaky.
Yeah.
And they are, but we just have to learn how to be more wise.
It's elderly. So another problem that happens So my friend that helps older people, a lot of times there's a lot of rich widows.
Oh, we lost him.
I'll chime in and hopefully we'll get John back in a few minutes here. But I think that this is a really good reminder for businesses to
Oh,
always
absolutely.
make sure that you have some levels of, oh, sorry, John, I was filling in the dead airspace there while we
No,
lost
go
you.
ahead. It's okay.
Have some levels of control around your financial practices.
Right,
And
right.
I see this all the time, especially in small businesses. I work with a lot of businesses to map out all of their processes and document them. It's not work I like to do, but I do it because I know how important it is. But I see this a lot in, the financial piece. It's like, well, we just have one person who does, X, Y, and Z. And it's like, that's the fastest way to really get into trouble. Is to have one person who manages the inputs and the outputs of your money flow. And if you don't have those levels of control in place, because that is one sure way to get scammed. So unfortunately, it happens with your internal folks. So
it does. And that was why, I mean, when we set things up, we set it up to where whatever the purchase, even if it was a $10 Amazon purchase, we all have to know about it. We all need to know which account it's coming out of. We all need to agree on these things need to be done. And so we have that in triplicate because there's 3 of us, for that very reason. We're like, we're not going to fall under, we're not going to get scammed. Yeah.
Yeah.
As a former human resources management professional, I would say I would recommend anybody having gone through this in the business world is to go to Society of Human Resource Management. It's called SHRM. .org. I want to say it's .org. It may be .com.
I think it's .org.
Yeah. Go to that website. If you have somebody within your company that has a human resource background, have that person do it. But go to SHRM and look at the resources of how to regain your financial standing. There's so much information on SHRM.org that I recommend as a business, go to that as a resource to regain your financial standing. SHRM.org.
Write that down. Yeah, nowadays more and more, more and more dishonest people, and they have more weapons at their disposal.
They do, and they're getting crafty. Like I said, this company, they had all their bases covered. They did everything right, just to do wrong, which is unfortunate.
Right.
Well, this has been a great discussion, and there's no words for that kind of behavior, except for John 10:10 and Proverbs 6:31. But putting this aside, I just wish there was more that we can do right now to help me regain everything. But just talking about it is such a huge help. It is a huge help.
Right. Oh yeah, making people aware for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So thank you for everyone for chiming in, for sharing your perspective, for even caring, because yes, Tara is our team member, but it's more than that, it's the responsibility of being protected and knowing that there are people who care. Yeah, that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Just being able to say, you're not alone.
Right.
Very true. Very true. Sadly, it happens more often than we would like to admit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And for those out there that felt that you were alone again, I am not an attorney, so I can't say about how far along, but just know that, like I said, go to the you go to your local legal resources, but also do go to the library. Libraries have, for myself personally, I was the child that would say, "Mommy, I'm going to the library," instead of saying, "Mommy, I'm going outside to play."
Yeah.
I'm dating myself, because nowadays the children don't say go on outside to play. They just say, "I'm going on the Nintendo," or whatever they have
Yeah.
right now, Game Boy or whatever. But yeah, that was the child that I was. I was, Mom, I'm going to the library, I'll see you later, But yeah, it's important to know that you have resources
Mhm.
that will help you to get your mental capacity back. Because I know it's gonna
Right.
really be labor intensive on the mind.
It is. And, the things when you're going through and doing these reports, the things that you have to remember, it's
Yeah.
very helpful, like I said, to have that paper trail, because then you can refer back to it. I've got my file sitting right here. Whenever it asks a question, I just flip through the file going, there's my answer, and it's not just, this is what happened. There's a lot more to it.
Yeah.
But again, if somebody doesn't know where to start, feel free to reach out. I will help them and kind of talk them through a few things.
Yeah.
Right, right. So I was thinking we could segue right from this disaster over to maybe Alicia give us an update on your launch, because you're going to help people, right, to protect themselves, be smarter, have their organization running better. So can you give us an update on
Yes,
what you're
well,
doing?
yesterday I had a second unveiling of the organizational excellence system model system. This is a AI application that helps you as a decision maker to um, to really know what kind of questions or how to, within your organization, within your company, set up organizational excellence, looking at neuro leadership, neuro management, authentic appreciation, workplace forgiveness, and organizational trust within your company. And it gives you 9 command drivers, such as clarity, collaboration, communication, courage, even credibility, conviction, commitment, consistency, conscience, and there's one more that I'm really not remembering, but these are all important to have them within an organization. Just to have, um, like when a corporate shift happens, what is a corporate shift? Something that happens within the company that affects everyone, but nobody saw it coming. So something that way caused the company to shake, be shaken a bit. When you have organizational excellence, you can trust your team members. You know that you can have good relationships within your organization to make it through the corporate shift. And this is the number one thrust that I built the organizational excellence excellence model system on. And it is in the market. If you're interested in getting your copy, what I've DNC wise has been directed to do is to share it with you. If you want a demonstration, contact me, Alicia J. Alexander, 401-601-3207. I'll be happy to share it with you. It's gratis to demonstrate it. But what I am looking to do is to have a day conference, or even come into your company and offer you classes on how to understand it, what kind of questions you want to feed into it, so that you can have this organizational excellence.
Awesome. That's
In
great.
return, thank you so much. In return, I want each of my team members to say a little bit about themselves and what do they have to offer as an audience. Dr. Danielle?
Oh, my newest offering. Let's see. I just finished my second book, which hopefully will be coming out this year. It's called Building Beyond Engagement. And it's really looking to understand how what I call cumulative workplace distress is really what's driving a lot of the disengagement that we have in our organizations right now. And we have to be able to take care of our employees. So that, Alicia, that's why your work is so important as well. You know, you talk about trust and recognition, and we have people that are hurting. In fact, the latest Gallup Global Workforce Report came out and said 50% of people are struggling and suffering. So we can do a whole lot better. And so, yeah, so hopefully later this year, the book will be coming out, the second book, and kind of an addition to engaging your employees. So
Awesome.
yeah.
John, excuse me, John.
Yeah, so basically, still I work with everybody I mentioned earlier. One of the biggest things I've focused on now is certifying other practitioners to use my program. And that's been so effective. So everything from DeMartini coaches, Aerosmith instructors, mental coaches, fitness coaches, physical coaches, parents with neurodiverse kids. So it kind of gets me out of the middle, right? God gave me this gift to totally change people's lives by improving their brain. And if I can certify other people to use what I created to help more people, and that's just kind of spreading the goodness other way. So that's what I'm really focusing on, and I really, really love the people that I'm able to help, because it doesn't replace what they do, but they can add a few minutes of my program to their existing client sessions, and now they're engaged, they're focused, they're laughing, and they get so much more out of whatever the other practitioner is teaching them. So that's pretty much where my focus has been. I just finished a class this morning with 2 Aerosmith instructors, finished one last week with a business manifestation coach. So plus I get to learn a lot from the people I certify. So I'm enjoying that as well.
Awesome, I love it. And Tara.
So I already kind of shared a little bit about the CHOPS. My CHOPS method. It is a proprietary program, but go onto my website, which I know you'll have linked in the comments and stuff, but take the CHOPS gap assessment. It's free. It will, it'll go through, and we all have somewhere that we can improve in all of that internal stuff that, see where your weakness is. Let's schedule a conversation. And again, it's a free conversation. We just talk about where the gaps are, and if we can work together, great. If not, I'm here for you to answer questions.
I want to share that I appreciate Tara, John, Dr. Danielle so much. As we have this focus forum, the basic thrust is for us to share not only our talents and gifts that God has empowered us with, but basic information that will help you, the audience, gain information that will help you in your daily business activities, daily life struggles. You're not alone. That's the bottom line. You're not alone. We are here to help. And so we sign off now, and we thank you for listening to us, and see you again soon. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful
Bye.
weekend.
You too.